did not hit any of the Marines. It hit a building they were passing by. They have been exploding a T-55 tank, at least one as far as I can tell, and we are staying with Martin live.
What do you need?
Martin, are you back with us? Can you hear us?
Yep. Yeah, we can hear you. We're just sort of repositioning ourselves so in case we have to move in a hurry, we're prepared to do so. So again, the explosions you were hearing there sounded like 50 cal or the heavy machine gun ammunition that's still cooking off inside that tank. They're obviously in situations like this, the tanks are fairly dangerous, which is why you want to keep your distance. But when it is all said and done, and it's going to be hours from now, that tank obviously will be no good to anyone, and that's the main purpose here.
You were talking before about the Iraqis surrounding those tanks. Some of them were in jogging suits, and you had mentioned that the military believed they were paid to stay there as decoys. Can you tell us more from that angle of the story?
Well, we're not quite clear. I mean, that's really just the assessment of one Marine who was out there. I suppose, as it suggests, that this would be a slowing down device, that in other words, it would keep the Marines focused on the armor they see, the armor that is obviously in place. They spent a lot of rounds of ammunition on it today. They had air cover coming in. I'm not sure what is going on around the corner there. We have another photographer down there. It's clear that there is a lot of fire coming from that region. But back to the ETOWs, it was just the thought that perhaps these people were left behind, the tanks left behind as sort of decoys to keep the Marines busy while other military units got out of town.
Now, Martin, the ETOW that you just referred to, that's the TOW missile. That's the a missile used to destroy generally armored vehicles, enemy tanks, things like that, correct?
Right, yeah, the TOW is a very effective weapon. It has a very strong warhead on it that can punch through armor, and they've been using it quite a bit. Right now they're coming back around the corner. The Mark 19, which is the other tan Humvee that you see there, is automatic grenade launcher. I believe it fires 40 millimeter explosive rounds. That's a highly effective weapon as well, not so much against armor, but certainly against personnel. The TOW has been active this morning. There have been a number of CAT shots or TOW shots that they've been taking. And of course, they use it sometimes against armor or sometimes against fortified positions. We've seen both in the last 10 minutes, I suppose.
Now, Martin, I'm assuming we're seeing your other cameraman there taking a shot down the road a little bit. Describe for us, if you can, what it's like for the Marines, for yourself even, what it's like being in this situation where you're not exactly sure what is going on, and there are explosions going around, and I imagine the adrenaline is pumping quite fast right now through you. Take us there. Tell us what it's like.
Well, it was funny this morning when we woke up to an artillery barrage. You hear fighting around you all the time, but much of it can be at a distance of several kilometers. As a journalist, you're sort of frustrated because you want to be up there where it is, but you also know that the battlefield's a very confusing place, and it isn't as simple as hopping in the car, getting on I-90 and driving out there. It would be highly hazardous to roll up on a situation if Marines didn't know you were in the area. You yourself could become targeted. So if Scott McQuinney, my cameraman, who I've been with for some time, was lamenting, he said, aren't we ever going to see any action? And then we were told they were going to start blowing up some of these tanks. And Scotty said, well, let's go check this out. So we thought it was going to be a simple demolition project. We're in a small convoy of Humvees with our own CNN Humvee, and then whiz, right past us was the RPG, the shattering of glass, and that's when the adrenaline dump kicked. And you're trying to figure out, all right, who is fired, where are they fired from, and for goodness sakes, are they going to fire again? And that's when you saw the Marines immediately draw their weapons, get down into hunker positions behind their vehicles, and then immediately try to assess the situation. You had the commander get on the radio and instantly called for tow vehicles to get up here because you want to have something with a lot of firepower in addition to the standard machine guns and automatic grenade launchers. And that's what they've done. I mean, technically, they've done a very good job here. It may look, from our untrained vantage point, as being chaotic or perhaps dangerous, but you can tell the way they've got this street on both ends covered, the way they've continued to focus on demolishing these tanks, while still facing a potential threat, but they know their job and they do it well.
Martin, they do look pretty calm. Carol Costello again. You can see the thick smoke coming out after they've hit those tanks. Is that coming your way? What does it smell like? Is it clouding the air?
We're going to back up a bit because we think another tank is going to go soon. So just bear with us. We'll try to stay with you.
Keep going on. Go quite quickly, mate. Let me ram him.
Okay, wait. Let me get out now. Make sure the back is clear. We can't see out the back of our vehicle, so while we're reversing, we don't want to hit another military vehicle. Keep coming, Gerard. Keep coming. You're okay. Keep coming. Keep coming. Keep coming. Keep coming. Keep coming. Keep coming. They're going to move forward. Sorry that you have to listen to our directions here as we do this, but
Hey, Martin,
No
we're
problem
hanging.
at all.
it's a team effort.
We're hanging
And
with
the
you.
engineer actually driving.
Martin, believe me, we are hanging with you at every word you say. It may not be interesting to you, but it is unbelievable to watch.
Okay. So yeah, we sort of all play multiple roles here. Actually, my production assistant is running the camera right now. Gerard, the engineer who normally takes care of the technical stuff, is driving the vehicle. And Scott McQuitty, who is the other photographer, is out rolling tape. Let's see if we can get a read on what exactly is going to happen here. But it looks like they might be getting ready to...
Hey,
yeah,
Mar-
you know, if that tank's going to blow, I don't think we want to be quite this close.
Oh, yes. Please back
Yeah.
away if you must.
Come on back, as the saying goes. What's going on, Scotty?
They blew up tanks, blew up some tanks, and then shot the engine blocks with 50 cal up to military personnel base.
Okay. So Scotty was just telling me he was up forward with the other camera, but they blew up 2 tanks there and then opened fire with the 50 cal machine guns, which is what we heard going through the engine blocks of some personnel carriers. Again, all of this to deny access to anyone to use it should they come across it later.
What came through down the alleyway was an RPG fired from the civilian.
Okay, so now
Both down.
Scotty says that the RPG that came at us was actually fired from inside the village. Oh, well, there you it's getting hot. Let's go.
Just
That looks like a armored personnel carrier. We're going to keep moving back because these also have ammunition inside of them. There goes your tank down the end. And the secondary explosions that are about to follow. You're all right, Gerard. Keep coming back. Let's pull back. So the concern, obviously, that RPG is it came from the village, and now who fired it? And do they have another one, obviously? Which is why we're not going to linger too much longer. But there are more tanks to go, so if you miss that one, there'll be another one soon enough.
Martin, are the Marines
Secondary explosions here.
are the Marines now going through the town too, Martin?
Okay, we're losing our support. Let's get out of here. Smudge, you got to get in now because we're moving. Hurry up. It's going to blow, and we're right by it. That tank. You're all right. Back it up. Yeah, go down where they were. Let's get out of here. Don't wait for him to go. He'll run behind us.
Where do we go?
Just go around that corner or straight ahead.
Yeah, okay. Quick stride, kick, get running.
Go, go, go.
Go over an angle, mate. You'll be all right.
Follow them.
Scott, you got time to get in?
Okay, we're going to try and get Scotty back in the vehicle.
Video phone. What's the video phone? Why is the standby gone out?
Can you still see us, Atlanta? Are you still with us?
We still have you, Martin. We are watching and listening.
Okay. All right, hold on, we're still live, so let's control the language.
Don't worry about the language, Martin. Just keep rolling.
And just keep safe.
So obviously what we're doing now is we're withdrawing from here. They've set the charges, so they've done enough. And I think they're obviously concerned, too, about the fire they took from the village. So the safest thing at this point is to withdraw and assess the situation and figure out how to move from there. Certainly, this was not the sort of routine demolition that they thought it was going to be about half an hour ago when we made our way in.
So, Martin, are they going to return to that village? I mean, you said the RPG, the rocket-propelled grenade, came from the village. How big a concern is that for Marines, and is that just simply someone else's problem at this point?
Well, you know what, Anderson? Your guess is as good as mine right now. We'll try to find out exactly how they're going to deal with it. Right now, it's always good to stay with the folks in green, at least in this point when you're embedded with them. So that's why what they do, we will do. And we'll try to assess the situation here as to what comes next. It's clear they're keeping an eye on this village. You've got a couple of tows that are right here in place, as well as 50 cal machine guns.
If I were you, Martin, I would stick very close to those tows.
But we're just trying to assess. We want to make sure that we're not in the way of these vehicles too when they have to roll. You want to be free and clear of them because they tend to move quickly, and when they fire, you don't want to be anywhere near the backblast of that tow missile. There's just no way to tell you how loud it can be. It looks like we're going to be moving again. You're obviously seeing this as we are, and so trying to ascertain exactly what's happening.
Are you able to communicate with the Marines?
It looks like the team is going to withdraw. Well, if you mean do we have a radio and it means to talk to them over from our vehicle, no, we do not. Obviously, we talk them. We have a great rapport with them, having lived with them now for a couple of weeks. We live as they live. We do as they do. And as a result of that, we are accepted amongst them. So, yeah, we talk quite a bit. We just haven't had a chat since this situation came down.
And of course, this kind of thing was discussed with them before. Did they, I mean, of course, they would tell you how to stay the safest, correct?
Well, they do. I mean, one of the rules or one of the deals that was made for the embed process was that we would, you can be with the military, you can be with the Marines, you're embedded. Yes, they worry about safety, but they worry about safety for their own forces. So our regard is taken no more highly or any less seriously than it would be for the average Marine. In other words, they aren't trying to shield us from anything. They don't say don't go up there because it might be dangerous, and you're in the media. We're not. No, that has not been the case. If we want to go anywhere, we make the request of commanders, and usually shortly it's fulfilled. They'll tell you, hey, watch out here on the left, you could get some fire from there, watch out on the right, and make sure you don't go here or there. But they aren't out there to protect us because we are simply civilians reporting from the battlefront. We signed on, so that means we took the danger. I think, let's see what we're coming up on here. It's also British armor that has been moving into this area. The British are doing what's called well, they're replacing the Marines. The Marines are ready to move on to other objectives, so the British have decided to come in the oil fields here to the south, in the oil facilities, and they are doing a relieve in place, it is called. So British tank is up right over here, as you can see. And this is the other area where the Iraqi tanks are. In fact, Spudge, let me open the door for you. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry. There's still a lot of activity going on here. I'm trying to peer around the corner to find out what's going on. As you look in the direction where the camera is pointed, you may see the British tank. It is guarding right over a number of Iraqi tanks. Perhaps you can see there is a muzzle just sort of poking out of the ground. You'll also see some smoke that's coming from an armored vehicle that they blew up earlier today.
Should we inform him that he's on international and that does he want to do a recap? And so that's why the British are in place over there. If you want to pan back towards the village smudge, you can see that there's a lot of smoke rising from over there where you've got a mixture of things going on actually in the distance. You have a number of oil fires. You have a number of still some ammunition going off, and then you have the tanks and vehicles that were demolished over there. So,
Martin, you mentioned the oil fires. Martin, when were those oil fires set? Were they set before you got there or as the Marines arrived?
It's unclear, Carol, really. We're trying to, it was unknown. When we came in the area, they were already burning. Now, we haven't seen oil wells per se. What we've usually seen are oil pipelines that have been burning. This whole southern area of Iraq is crisscrossed with oil transmission pipelines. And it appears that somehow they were damaged, whether intentionally or in the initial battle here of artillery and aerial bombardment to clear the way for the ground troops to come in. They were struck. As a result, they caught on fire, and that's why they're burning. It's nothing like the, say, 700 wells that were burning in Kuwait after the end of the original Gulf War. It's only plumes of smoke here and there on the horizon. The Marines obviously are outfitted to deal with those. Their job is to secure the perimeter of the oil facility because they're more worried about that facility going up. Someone would sabotage more so than they are about these spot fires. Eventually, experts will be brought in, and perhaps even the local oil workers. There are a lot of Iraqi oil workers here, and once they've been cleared, they'll go back to their job because it's their oil, and the Marines and the military want to make sure it goes to the Iraqi people. You can see more explosions going off over here. More white smoke. Okay, and now Gerard's telling us we're getting ready to move, which of course means so are we.
Martin, just so you know, we were being joined by our CNN International, our international viewers, and whenever you get a moment, you might want to just recap a little bit about what has happened in the last 30 minutes or so with you, but when at your leisure.
Okay. Well, to recap for you, we are near the area of Basra, outside of a major oil facility, Iraqi oil facility, where the Marines grabbed that objective yesterday. It was considered to be a primary goal because securing the oil wealth of this nation for the Iraqi people is number one with them.
Get ahead of the Marines. We're going to sit ahead.
And as a result of that, they began pushing out. And as they were pushing out, they came across Iraqi armor. They engaged that this morning, and then found other pieces to be abandoned, tanks, APCs, that sort of thing. We were on a routine demolition mission going into a small village where these tanks were posted nearby when suddenly we were fired upon with an RPG, and that's what sort of began this operation here of trying to maintain force security. The RPG came from within the village and continue the job of demolition because these Marines aren't a sort of fighting force that stays in place long. They've got other places to go, and they have a mission to fulfill, so just because they get shot, it doesn't take them off their timeline. And that's brought us to where we are. You can see that the concern is still out in the area looking forward here from these Hummers. This is another wide open area that is filled with earthen berms, filled with all sorts of trenches, and an area where they had received fire from earlier today. In fact, the first Hummers that came down here this morning said they turned in, saw the tanks, and nearly had a heart attack, opened fire quickly with their 50 cal machine guns, and then withdrew to fire tows and took out the tanks. So it's very much a fluid battlefield here. You don't necessarily have huge, massive battles that take place. You have sporadic altercations isn't really a good word, but you have sporadic fighting. And if you're in the middle of that sporadic fighting, of course, at that time, it seems pretty severe. In the overall theater, though, it has been relatively calm, and it's usually only in the distance that you hear the fighting. So it just happened to be that we came across one of those sporadic incidents.
Tell us again about the Iraqi troops or alleged Iraqi troops around those empty tanks, Martin.
Well, it was a situation where when they discovered the tanks, they didn't find anybody in them, but they did see a group of about 13 men, somewhat in the distance, maybe about 200 yards away, not dressed in Iraqi uniform. The men had their, this is how it was described to me, I was not there, but the Marines say that the men had their arms in the air as if they were, ready to capitulate, to surrender. And somewhere, somebody then opened fire on the Hummers that had come to accept that surrender. Well, you can imagine the chaos that caused. They opened fire with their 50 cal machine guns on the tanks, and then withdrew and fired on the tank positions. The EPWs were eventually taken into custody, the prisoners of war, and as far as we know, there were no casualties, not of Iraqis and not of the Marines as well. So in any soldier's mind, that is the best of scenarios where you destroy the weaponry and the people survive. And in this case, they've been taken into custody and being interrogated now. The British tank here is starting to move. It's handy having the tows, but obviously a tank is even better when you still have some question as to what the threat may be in the area. So the British are coming up just to add their sense of backbone here with that kind of firepower.
Martin, it's interesting that
and
British...
the tows continue to be focused down the street.
Martin, it's interesting that British
Carol,
troops... It's interesting that British troops are now involved, but this is under American military command. How many British troops are there with you?
Well, I don't know how many British troops actually are with us specifically. There was an overall force contributed of about 45,000 British troops, and they are British Marines, and also, in this case, you have British armor. They have been working, obviously, in conjunction. They're part of the coalition. They have their own military objectives. They are working in the command structure of the U.S. military, but they are also working as independent units themselves, meaning they don't necessarily mix with the American forces at the same time. They are given an objective. They are told that's what needs to be done in order to fulfill the coalition's desire, and they carry it out. In this particular case, what they're doing is the Marines, U.S. Marines, came into this area near Basra yesterday. They were designed to race in, grab it, and hold it for about 24 hours. Then a heavier British force would follow on, and it's the British who will remain here and keep it secure, and that allows the Marines, obviously, a much more mobile fighting force to continue on their way and continue the fight and continue to Baghdad, which is the eventual goal.
Martin, does an operation like what we've seen in this last hour with you, does it slow up the other forces that are out there that are traveling in conjunction with the troops, with the Marines that you are with? When one unit takes an incoming RPG round, how does that affect the larger unit?
Well, I suppose that's a good question to ask. The truth is, no, it doesn't affect the overall operation. If someone thinks that by opening fire on a couple of Marines, that all the Marines are now going to close on this area and that the air power is going to come in and that allows someone to sneak out the back door, that is not the case. The Marines are well equipped, even with these small units, to deal with most of what comes their way. So they simply take on the task, take out the threat. The remainder of the Marines continue doing their job, patrolling the perimeter around this oil facility here, or rearming, refueling the vehicles, getting ready to move on, getting rest, getting meals, digging in if that's the case, or handing over to British forces that come upon their position. So this really has no impact whatsoever on the overall effort. That is continuing and well on its way. It's just another day on the job for this particular unit. They know they can handle it. They don't have to call in massive reinforcements. They're fine for now. If they need them, they're standing by just in case.
Martin, your cameraman was showing us plumes of smoke in the distance, white smoke, dark smoke. Do you know what that is from? Is that from other ordnance, other exploding tanks or oil fires? Do you know?
It's not oil fires you're looking at there. That is basically the demolition of Iraqi military hardware. That's what the black smoke, the white smoke could be, any sort of different things inside of those vehicles going off. But That smoke you're seeing right immediately here is just, there goes another one. I don't know if you saw the flash there. It's just Saddam's hardware being taken apart piece by piece, and that is something the U.S. military wants to do and did extensively after the Gulf War.
And you probably didn't get much of a chance to examine
I'm just...
Go ahead.
We're not going into British, now going to come to the
Okay, I'm just being told there's a number of enemy forces down the highway here, beyond where we were, and they have been taken out now by, was it Cobra attack helicopter, Scotty? And I think the British forces are going to move on.
After this village, and that's all finished done with.
All right. So as I get it from the cameraman to the reporter now, that the assault was carried out at this farther village where there were Iraqi forces by the Cobra attack helicopters. It's a very maneuverable, high-speed, and heavily armed helicopter. That has dealt with the threat there. The British forces that we've seen, the tank moving down the road, they are going to move down and watch over that village, one, to protect the non-combatants who are there, and also to keep an eye on at least one guy with an RPG, who is a pesky one this afternoon for us. I think that's pretty much about it from here for right now. And I think we all need a moment just to sort of collect ourselves a bit and get our gear in order to move along. So if we could pass it back to
All right.
Anderson and Carolyn, and we'll just take a well-needed rest for a moment.
Well deserved. Stay safe, Martin. We'll check in with you a little bit later on.
Yeah, it's not.